You're with the hard facts from the CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Prime Time studio. Viewers, Prime Minister Modi is often labelled a populist. That's what he's called. For added impact, often to sensationalize, the word divisive is also prefixed to this description. So Modi is often therefore called a divisive populist. The words are spat out at him. They are pejoratively meant to bracket him with the likes of Donald Trump, Orban, Meloni, Wilders, all international leaders. Viktor Orban, of course, viewers, Hungary. Meloni is, of course, the Italian Prime Minister, and Wilders is just the person who's been brought into office in the Netherlands. Open any left-leaning publication in India or even abroad, and you will see these two adjectives used to define the Indian Prime Minister. Divisive, populist. An entire cover by an international magazine was devoted to the Prime Minister, calling him a divisive figure. While these publications and media houses are within their rights to use descriptors as they think fit, the tragedy is that they're almost always selective. They forget that these adjectives are perhaps better suited to the Congress party's great hope, Rahul Gandhi. Indeed, without exaggeration, Rahul Gandhi has excelled at polarization and divisive rhetoric. Before you accuse the hard facts of spreading fake news, consider just these recent statements from Rahul Gandhi. In fact, they're not even statements, viewers. These are outbursts, sometimes not even thought through, at other times deliberately provocative, pitting individuals against individuals, pitting sections of one part of our society against another. One remark was made just yesterday, viewers. And for the benefit of easy explanation, let me call it the 2CM analogy. This is what Rahul Gandhi says. He says, 2 chief ministers were arrested. It's there on your screens. 2 chief ministers were arrested. The Adivasi chief minister, he's referring to Hemant Soren, is still in jail. He was arrested before whom? Arvind Kejriwal, and is still behind bars. The national media has forgotten him. It doesn't talk about him. Mayawati is corrupt, but not Naveen Patnaik. Lalu Yadav is corrupt. If someone is tribal or Dalit, he is automatically framed. Now viewers, it's not Modi who gave bail to Delhi Chief Minister Kejriwal. It's not Modi who denied Hemant Soren bail, viewers. It's the Supreme Court of India, the Judiciary. Is Rahul Gandhi trying to suggest that the Judiciary first examines someone's caste certificate and according to that, it designs its judgment? Is that what he's saying? And if he isn't, is he implying that some people, because of their caste, get an easier ride and others don't in the media or even in the executive, judiciary, parliament, what have you? Viewers, no policy, and I can say this with absolute certainty, and let someone come out and correct me. No policy by the NDA in 10 years militates against any one section of society. In fact, viewers, those who attack the Prime Minister for being divisive will often accuse him of hypocrisy, saying that look what he did in Gujarat, he even gave Muslims a quota there. So viewers, the Prime Minister willy-nilly is that open, accommodating. Viewers, this is just one remark, and there you can hear him actually. We can play that out for you in just a few moments, but let me take you through another few, because as you know, one swallow doesn't make a summer. The other remark, let me sum it up, is the X-ray pledge. Let me talk you through that. He said, and I quote, they have been counting notes they got from tempo wale billionaires for the last 10 years. We will x-ray the country through caste census and ensure equitable shares for every section, unquote. The last time, viewers, a caste census was conducted, it was conducted by the British in 1921. And you know what the British wanted to do? They wanted to divide us and then rule us. Viewers, if that is not divisiveness, then what is? Another one, the wo OBC hai taunt. Let me talk you through that. Rahul Gandhi said, quote, media ke hain aap? He taunted a journalist in the crowd called Shiv Prasad, if I'm not mistaken. He said, media ke hain aap? Naam kya hai aapka? हाँ, आप शिव प्रसाद जी हैं. आपके मालिक का क्या नाम है? आपके मालिक का क्या नाम है? क्या नाम है? नाम बताओ, नाम बताओ. You must have heard this. Taunt, viewers. Then when certain Congress karyakartas, workers started roughing up poor Shiv Prasad, he said, भाई मारो मत यार, मारो मत उसको. मारना नहीं है, मारना नहीं है. He realized he had unleashed hate on another citizen. But then he continued. नाम बताओ उसका. वो OBC है? नहीं. वो दलित है? नहीं. Are you from the media? What is your name? You are Shiv Prasad ji. What is your owner's name? What is your owner's name? What's the name? Tell me the name. Tell me the name. Don't hit him. Don't beat him up. Tell his owner's name. Is he an OBC? No. Is he Dalit? No. These were the words, viewers. I didn't want to play out the soundbite because you see, viewers, people pick all this up from television channels and then they tweet them out and misrepresent stuff. So I didn't want to bring that back into circulation. It is so divisive. There's another one, Jitni Abadi Joust. And I've chosen to call it this. The caste census of Bihar, Rahul Gandhi said, has revealed that OBC, ST, STs are 84% there. Out of 90 secretaries of the central government, only 3 are OBC, who handle only 5% of India's budget. Therefore, it is important to know the caste statistics of India. Jitni abadi, utna haq. This is our pledge, unquote. So viewers, can you imagine? The minorities must be quaking because if it all comes down to how much you get on the basis of how many you are, then they'll get nothing. If you go by this logic, viewers. That's what I was saying. He completely contradicts himself constantly and it's ill thought out, but there is one common strain to all of this. It is divisive. Viewers, it is polarizing. And then they get after the Prime Minister when he says things which perhaps, viewers, in the heat and dust you do say. You shouldn't. But only one side is constantly called out. And I want to open this up a little bit. I want to ask some questions this evening and let's bring everyone to the table. Let me begin first with Tehseen Poonawalla. There's also Dr. Suman C. Raman with us. Now, Tehseen Poonawalla, look, I've read out certain bites. I haven't played them. I've spared our friends who are watching us tonight, extended family members really, the torture of listening to Rahul Gandhi's rasping voice, which is clearly polarizing. But Tehseen Poonawalla, I'm sure you don't agree with all of this, do you? I'm sure you don't agree with someone standing on top of a makeshift car, shouting, "Batao, batao, वो OBC है, वो क्या है, दलित है, आदिवासी है, नहीं, नहीं." I mean, I don't think you would appreciate that. You're quite a sensible guy. But beyond that, I just want to ask you, is the judiciary in this country, do they pass judgments looking at people's caste certificates?
Good evening, Rahul. Thank you for having me on the show. And you're right, there are many things about the Rahul ji that I may think should have been said differently. And I do agree with that. But I firmly stand by what he's saying on two things. No if, no but. Please read my lips. We have a serious problem in our country, Rahul. And it's our country, right? We got to address that problem. We got to take the bull by the horns. And that's why I have a lot of respect for Rahul. Because he takes it by the horns. Look, in our history, let's look at the state of Uttar Pradesh, for example, today. And I want your viewers to do this exercise with me while I speak. Google the amount of DMs, the amount of SPs, the amount of police commissioners today who come from the SC, ST, OBC community. Now they're all IPS officers because of affirmative action brought in by the Congress and Baba Saheb Ambedkar. Why do they not get a top post? Look at the central government university vice chancellors today. How many are from these communities? Why? If they are capable enough of being professors, why can't they be vice chancellors when they are equally qualified? Let's go to the most honorable Supreme Court. Before His Majesty, we all bow. Except for one judge in the UPA era, why aren't judges from this community becoming chief justices of the Supreme Court? We had one. Why aren't it? Let's look at all the High Court chief justices today in India. Why don't we have the proportionate representative from the SC, ST, OBC community? When they are judges, are they not capable of becoming chief justices of these high courts? Why does this happen? Why at the last mile are our OBC, SC, ST fellow citizens tripped? May I humbly say one last thing before I end? Yes, they're tripped. They're deliberately tripped in some cases. In some cases. May I just add one more example?
Okay.
With a lot of humility, because I have a lot of respect for you and I know how talented you are, and you are somebody I really respect. Though I may disagree, but you're democratic enough to give me this platform. Yeah. But may I ask you, somebody like you is capable, but how many 9 p.m. anchors are from the Dalit or SC, ST, OBC category? And I have no bones to pick with anyone who's a 9 p.m. anchor. I think they're all fantastic. They deserve to be there. But are you telling me anchors from these communities cannot be 9 p.m. anchors? And therein is my problem. And if I don't speak about my country, if Rahul Ji doesn't speak about his country, we will be doing a disservice to this great land.
So quick follow-up question. Appreciate your entire long discourse on inequity in this country, but I asked you a very specific question. Do you believe that the justices of the Supreme Court looked at the tribal certificate of Mr. Hemant Soren and then the great caste certificate of Mr. Kejriwal? I don't even know which caste he comes from because I've never looked at life through the caste prism. Now you say maybe I never needed to. I don't even know what my caste is. In certain states of southern India, I'm told, not in the upper caste echelons. So I really don't know, but nonetheless, I just want to ask you, Mr. Poonawalla, do you think that's what the judiciary did? They sat there and said, oh, this guy is a tribal, so let's deny him. And that guy is whatever caste, 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 or 15 up the ladder, so let's give him bail. Is that really what happened?
I don't know about individual cases, but
I'm asking you because this is an individual case that your friend and your brother-in-law is raising. So I'm asking you, sir.
He is.
Is this what happened in this case?
And the case was represented by my mentor.
Did this happen in this case?
Let me be very clear to you, Rahul. Absolutely clear. Again, no if, no but. There is, I don't know about this case, there is...
I'm talking about this case because your brother-in-law talked about this case. Tell me about this case.
There is institutional discrimination.
I am talking about this case, sir.
And tribals.
Rahul Gandhi talked about this case specifically and he used this 2CM analogy. And please, let me ask you, please answer, put your hand on your heart and say that the justices... No, you say that in this case, there was institutional discrimination against Hemant Soren. Say it.
Okay, Rahul, you must allow me to speak. I am putting my hand on my heart on this particular case and saying, but please allow me to finish on this particular case and saying, there is no reason, I've read this case inside out, upside down, there is no reason Hemant Soren should be in jail, no reason. 120B is put on nonsense. Please allow me to finish.
This is Tehseen Poonawalla telling us.
Please allow me to finish. Please allow me to finish. I request you. Please allow me. Give me this one line. I am putting my hand on the heart saying Hemant Soren should not be in jail. The case is bogus, should be thrown away. But more importantly, there is institutional discrimination against Dalits, tribals and Muslims in this country.
So Tehseen Poonawalla is saying that institutional discrimination has weighed in favor of Kejriwal, where he got advantaged and it disadvantaged Mr. Soren. Viewers, this is a direct attack on the fair-mindedness of the judiciary tonight. Now you make up your mind, viewers. You make up your mind. I haven't said it. Tehseen Poonawalla has said it. His brother-in-law is saying it. If this is not divisive, I don't know what is, because it shakes the entire faith that any citizen will have in our judiciary. And let me tell you how wrong they are. Before I bring in Sanju Verma, who needs to rebut this first off, let me just bring in how the apex court, forget about any other court, the court where only one, according to Tehseen Poonawalla, Dalit or person from backward community made it to the post of Chief Justice of India. And I think he's talking about Mr. Balakrishnan, isn't it, sir?
Yes.
So,
you're in Congress.
So viewers, let me tell you, it's as if the Congress was picking the Chief Justice of India. Now, this is another assumption that is being made. This is another assumption that is being made, viewers. This is another assumption. So now you tell me who is actually decking the cards. Now, 1 second, viewers. Let me just talk. It's the same Supreme Court in the Samta versus State of Andhra Pradesh and others. I don't know if you've heard of this judgment. The Nyamgiri judgment. The Banvasi Seva Ashram versus State of Uttar Pradesh 1987 judgment. Olga Tellis versus Mumbai Municipal Corporation AIR 1996 judgment. The NCRT versus State of Arunachal Pradesh, another landmark judgment in which Supreme Court ordered the rehabilitation of displaced tribals. The same judgment was repeated in the case of ND Jayal versus Union of India. Fateh Sangh Gimba Vasava versus State of Gujarat. In this case, the High Court of Gujarat ruled that the action of the Forest Department to prevent the sale of bamboo to tribals at subsidized prices was unwarranted. In this case, too, the High Court's decision was in favor of the tribal community. The High Court of Gujarat honored and protected the tribals' right of livelihood. This matter was also taken up in the higher apex court. Anil Agarwal Foundation, etc. Fat cat of this country, viewers. The fat cat didn't only lose out in Nyamgiri but loses out again versus State of Odisha and others. A landmark judgment by the Supreme Court in which the court protected the tribal rights by quashing the Odisha state government's initiative. But viewers, when it came to these thousands of people, the Supreme Court did not look at their caste certificates, did not look at their tribal certificates, but in the context of Hemant Soren, something possessed them to be discriminatory. Viewers, this is how absurd these arguments are. Nonetheless, Sanju Verma.
Thank you. Rahul, first and foremost, let me take the bull by the horns. Specifically with respect to Hemant Soren, let truth be told. Way back in 2011, when the Congress was in power at the center, he acquired 8.86 acres of land for a measly sum. Today, that land is valued at more than 31 crores. He got it for less than a crore. And there are two key witnesses who've corroborated that Hemant Soren was engaged in money laundering via his mafia deals. These are Pooja Singhal, IAS officer who was arrested in May 2022, and junior engineer Ram Govind Sinha. And in any case, when you have staunch witnesses to corroborate your case, then the prosecution wins that case, and that is precisely what happened with Hemant Soren. Now, let's not lose sight of the woods for the trees. Very quickly, first and foremost, to each one out there, including Rahul Gandhi, Robert Vadra, Mamta Banerjee, what have you, each time you say that the Modi government is against OBCs, let me remind you, hard data. Currently, 37% of Prime Minister Modi's cabinet consists of OBCs, 39% of our MLAs are OBCs, and 41% of our MLCs are OBCs. Point number one. Point number two, the most discriminatory legislation in post-independent India, which actually made a mockery of Article 14 and right to equality, was Article 370, under which Valmikis, forget about Valmikis aspiring for a better life, they were disenfranchised. They did not even have the right to vote. And a Jamadar ka son could only aspire to become a Jamadar. I'm sorry to use such crude language, but that is how it is. Today, Valmikis have been integrated into the Kashmiri mainstream. Thanks to Narendra Modi, just like Gujjars and Bakarwas, Kashmiri Pahadis have been given the scheduled tribe status. And one more thing, via the 102nd Amendment, the National Commission for Backward Classes, thanks to Narendra Modi, got constitutional status. Thanks to Narendra Modi again, via the 127th Amendment, 677 communities which were out of the OBC umbrella are today within the OBC umbrella. Again, via the 127th Amendment, Narendra Modi said states do not have to wait for presidential approval. They can make necessary amendments and include communities within the OBC list subject to checks and balances. And most importantly, I want to ask Rahul Gandhi, Do you have an iota of common sense? You say, अरे all bureaucrats today, खाली दो लोग हैं या तीन लोग हैं जो OBC community से हैं, बाकी सब तो upper caste है. Let us be very clear that the current GOI secretaries, under secretaries, the cut-off date for all these people who are today in service was 1992 October. And all the current secretaries, under secretaries were hired prior to 1992. So when there was no cut-off date, no demarcation to say that OBCs or Dalits or Adivasis have to be hired, on what bogus grounds are you saying that सिर्फ दो या तीन bureaucrats lower communities है, बाकी तो सारे ब्राह्मण हैं, बाकी तो सारे upper caste के हैं. That does not hold water. But my most important point is this. I always say the proof of the pudding is in the eating. For the longest time, spokespersons of the Congress sympathizers come and start quoting Sachar committee. Arey bhai sahab, the same Sachar committee, the same Miller committee, the same Venkataswamy committee, the same Havanu committee has castigated the Congress for the longest time.
True.
Not giving rights to Dalits, to Adivasis and to OBCs.
Okay.
And let me tell you, the 15% reservation to scheduled caste and the 7.5% reservation to Adivasis in 2007 happened despite the Congress petitioning the Supreme Court not to do so. The Supreme Court said nothing doing.
Okay.
And today you take
Let's open it.
15% reservation.
Let's open it.
To Dalits.
Dr. Anand Ranganathan, I remember Miss Murmu's case, tribal president from Orissa. It's made president, and who opposed the candidature? It was the UPA. Don't forget, they wanted Mr. Azad to be, Yashwant Sinha to be the president. Anyhow, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, what do you make of this statement? And do you believe that divisive populism, divisiveness, etc., polarization, Rahul Gandhi is now beginning to sort of fit that?
Good evening, Rahul. Good evening to my fellow panelists. Look, Rahul Gandhi, as I said, is the captain of the Titanic. And I'm afraid he is running out of icebergs to collide with. For the last 1.5 months, he's come up with such outrageous remarks and statements that, leave alone aspiring to be the Prime Minister, it would be hard put to make him a member of parliament, which possibly is going to lose his seat as well. There are 4 issues, very briefly, I'd like to talk about, and this is not concerning the industrial scale lies that Rahul Gandhi has been, basically perpetrating for the last 4 or 5 years. No, nothing. I just want to count the number of icebergs, and I will limit myself to only 4. Number 1, when the other day Rahul Gandhi said, look, I have, in a sense, insinuating that he is a kid, a dynast kid, a scion, and he spent all his growing life in the prime minister's offices of his grandmother, his father, and then Dr. Manmohan Singh.
System.
And he said, look, the Dalits have got such a rough end of the stick. Well, who's responsible for 40 years? In one sense, he was the one who's castigating the Congress rule for last 40 years. Number 1, he didn't even realize it. Number 2, Rahul, is this not the principle of politics? To practice what you preach. Otherwise, you can preach whatever you want. But practice it first, then lay it open for the rest of the country. And here come the 3 icebergs. Number 1, when he talks about the wealth redistribution, practice what you preach. Lay out your wealth, do the wealth survey of your family and near and dear ones. Put everything out in the open. Tell me, how much does Robert Vadra have? How much does your sister have? How much does your mother have? How much does everyone else have? And then let us say, how are you going to redistribute it? He hasn't done it. Like it's been 40 days and he hasn't told where is the money going to come from for him to pay 1 lakh into the account of every woman belonging to a poor household below poverty line. He hasn't yet done it. Number 2, the second iceberg. Practice what you preach. They say, we want to work for Muslims. We want to work for the Muslim empowerment. Do you know something? In MVA, the candidates, including the Congress candidate in Maharashtra, not a single Muslim candidate has been put up by the Congress and the Mahavikas Aghadi. Not a single. What is the reason for that? Where is your practice what you preach? And finally, the third and most devastating iceberg, when they say we want to work for the upliftment of women, we were the first ones who brought the women reservation, which, by the way, Narendra Modi implemented 33%. Do you know, Congress, the percentage of women candidates in this election is even lower than the BJP. It's 12.5%. Forget about 33%. So, when you don't even realize the icebergs you're colliding with, no wonder You
Okay.
are not going to be fit even for a prime minister, leave alone a member of parliament.
Well, it's implicit in what Dr. Ranganathan is saying. And therefore, Dr. Raman, let me just ask you a very pointed question. In the context of what Rahul Gandhi said, is he implying that the judiciary looks at a caste certificate first? And they looked at Hemant Soren's caste certificate and Kejriwal's caste certificate, weighed it up and said, case the exact hai, magar caste alag hai. So, because the castes are different, one is upper according to the judiciary and one is lower according to the judiciary, we've denied Mr. Hemant Soren bail. This is what Rahul Gandhi is saying. So I want you to tell me, do you agree first of all with Rahul Gandhi in this narrow context? Forget about the larger context.
One second. First of all, that is not what Rahul Gandhi said.
Oh.
Rahul Gandhi clearly said that there is a systematic institutional bias against members from the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, which is manifested in multiple areas. This is not just one particular area. Let me give you a little example, Rahul. Since we are talking about judiciary, in the last 5 years, between 2018
So you're
and
talking about,
23,
Dr. Aman, you're
out of
talking about
458
systematic discrimination.
Yeah,
You're
just-
saying that
no,
Rahul
one
Gandhi
second.
meant it in the larger context, right, of systematic discrimination.
Rahul Gandhi meant it in the context that the Dalits and scheduled tribes have been systematically underrepresented in virtually every area of governance.
No,
in this
viewers. Now
country.
let me play out the
One second,
soundbite.
one
Now,
second.
I held this
1
back,
minute.
viewers, but now I'm compelled to play the
play the
soundbite
sound-
because
play
people
the
are
soundbite.
changing the goalposts on live television. Let's play it out.
Yes.
Let's play it
Please
out.
play it.
Let's play it out,
Play it
viewers.
out.
Listen to
Play
this
it out.
soundbite. Listen to it.
Play it out. Play it out.
Play it out, Rahul.
2 चीफ मिनिस्टर अरेस्ट हुए, 2 हुए, आदिवासी चीफ मिनिस्टर अभी भी अंदर है। अजीब सी बात है, इंटरेस्टिंग बात है। 2 चीफ मिनिस्टर है, मतलब 2 स्टेट्स ने इन लोगों को इलेक्ट किया है और आदिवासी चीफ मिनिस्टर पहले जेल गया और आज तक नहीं निकला।
I think this
So
gentleman.
will have been hauled up for contempt for less.
Where is
He took straight example and he meant to say that Kejriwal is out on bail.
Is
Supreme
it not
Court
a
gave him
fact?
bail, and
No.
Soren
Is
he's
it is it something which
Okay.
is not a fact? What he said an Adivasi chief minister is in jail. Is
Well,
he in
viewers,
jail or not?
look,
What
look,
is-
look.
was he arrested
The man
before
said
Kejriwal
it
or
very
not?
clearly.
What is the factual
There
error
is no
the factual
ambiguity
error?
in this. He meant to say
what
what he
is the
said
error,
because
Rahul?
he has to go out there and polarize and polarize and polarize because it is the
No,
Congress
is
that
it-
gave
is
us
it is
the
it a
Congress
lie?
that gave us monikers like Ahinda. It gave
One
us
second, Rahul.
monikers
Is it
monikers
factually
like
inaccurate?
No.
You played out the speech.
No, but why
Is
is
it
he
a lie?
saying it?
Was Hemant
Look,
Soren
Dr.
arrested
Raman, I don't
after
want to bandy
Kejriwal?
words, please. I rest my case. We are all liars here. Only Rahul Gandhi
No,
is the
I'm
honest
asking.
John.
No,
All the
yeah.
judiciary lies.
What
They look
is-
at caste certificates and they give
Nobody
judgments.
is
I have
saying
read
that.
out
What did he
precedent-setting
say?
landmark
He
judgments
said
in
an
favor of
Adivasi
tribals.
chief minister is in jail.
Rahul, I thought you
Rahul,
said
just
Congress
one
was
10
not
seconds.
going to-
Okay. I'm closing this. I'm running out of time because when we come back,
Rahul.
viewers, the stock markets have hit record highs. And many people, many experts are saying this is because they're sensing that there's going to be a very important record that is going to be set on June 4th. Is this right or wrong? Let's come right back to it. Don't go away.